How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we start another build. Yep, the Space Jam. The reason I'm using this one is because it doesn't have the red windshield. Again, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm using this one because it doesn't have the red windshield. I'm going to try to make it work with the blue. I mean, it's a darker blue, darker than I really thought it was. But anyhow, this is actually for somebody. It's for Mr. Gary Shorter, Shorter's Diecast. If you don't know who that is, description, channel link will be in the description box. Go say hi, check out his videos, give him a thumbs up, watch at least one video, and you know, the whole routine. And I'll go over that again as we get further into this. But anyhow, we're going to get this out of this pack. And then we'll go from there. He saw my channel van. And he wants one like it. You know, there can only be one channel van. So it's going to be similar, but it's not going to be the same. Sorry, Gary. I cannot build it exactly the same. Number one, the paint won't go on the exact same way whenever I go to do the marble part. But number two, there's only one Old Man Diecast channel van. Sorry. But it will be very similar. You'll like it, I promise. But yeah, let's get it out of the pack. Alright, got the magic sauce on there. It's been working for a minute. Let's see if it's ready. Yes, sir. Look at that. It comes right out. Now what we're going to do is stick something in there so it doesn't reseal itself. And we'll be golden. Let's take a look at it. Just like the regular Super Chevy van that I use for mine. Same casting and everything, just a blue windshield instead of the black. But I got a feeling by the time I do the paint job and everything, you'll never notice that. I'm just looking it over to see if there's anything that looks like it's out of place, messed up or anything. They're pretty good about hiding defects and everything with their decals. So we need to get this bedboard drilled apart and see what it looks like. See if I can get this bad boy apart. She ain't wanting to cooperate on the front. There we go. Definitely be changing out those wheels. I don't know, I may end up leaving those wheels. Because the paint job that I'm going to be doing, that will go really good. But I just don't know about this freaking blue interior. She's bright though. But anyhow, there's what's going in her. As always, I assign a box so I don't get the parts mixed up or lose anything, or if there's a special color or whatnot. So this, like I said, this is for Mr. Gary Shorter. So there will be no confusion there. Put the base in there. That'll be getting painted. Like I said, I don't know about the wheels. I sure don't know about that interior. That's rough. But anyhow, I gotta get the post drilled out for screws and everything. And yeah, there's that. Next thing up is the stripper. Alright, nice beautiful day. Let's get some sealer on this van and a few other bits and pieces that I've got to do. But here's the sealer we're using. It's the Autoborn Black. Got it mixed up, got it thinned down to where I think it's right. It's the mixture ratio that I always use. Hopefully I don't need any more than that. I shouldn't. Normally black covers it up pretty good, pretty fast. Test spray. Everything's working fine. You can see how fast that covers it. I mean, it just covers it super fast. It's like with anything, light mist coats, and we're not looking to paint the car with this, although you can, but that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking to paint it. We're looking to seal it. That way the other coats and stuff can go on it. Uh-oh, knocked my little cup over. Now let's put another coat on the van. And the primer that I'm using is actually a sealer from Autoborn, which is a Createx line. But I really love how this stuff lays down. It goes on super smooth when it dries. I mean, look at that. I really like it. I have their white, I have the silver, and I have the black. And I've never had an issue out of any of them. But there's that. Now we'll let this dry for a day. We'll come back with the van and then we'll put the next coat on it, which will be gold, and then we'll have the final color. I won't tell you what that is just yet, but if you know me, you should know the color already. But it's going to be, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, it's going to be a marble paint. You've seen me do a marble paint before, especially on my channel van. Well, basically that's what I'm going to do, because he wanted that, he really liked the paint job on that. But no two marble paint jobs are the same. You know, you can go heavy, you can go light. Everybody does it different. And the patterns are different, and techniques are different, and everything. But that's what he wanted, was the marble paint. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's get this bad boy to the next step. Here we are. I've got the black sealer from Autoborn, which is a Createx line. It's their sealer / primer, if you will. And looks good. It's got a flat sheen to it, or a matte, not really a matte, but it's a flat. But I'm going to be putting a gloss clear over this, so it really doesn't matter. Now if I was doing something like a candy, I'd want gloss black, because that's what helps give the black look to it whenever you go over it with the chrome or silver. But the next step, and this is going to be a marbleized technique, or marbleizing technique. But it's kind of a hybrid, because what I did was I looked online, I watched everybody do it that did it. I even watched Createx paints themselves, or Createx colors themselves do theirs. And some of them were time consuming, some of them were really messy, some of them were complicated. So I researched, I looked, and I came up with a technique that I like. And I'm going to show you that. One of them I've already showed in a previous video, where I just take the saran wrap, ball it up. I actually used the wrong saran wrap. You take the saran wrap, ball it up, spray paint on it, and then you dab it on the car. Well, it's fine and dandy if you're outside. Well, it's windy outside, it's cool outside. Paint doesn't like to stick real good in cool weather. I don't feel like setting up the tent, getting in it, letting the heater run for an hour, and then going out there doing it and have to put all that stuff up. So we're inside. This is going to be a hybrid technique. I did it on my van, as a matter of fact, because it was windy and cold. So what you need is your color. In this case, we're using gold, because the look we're going after, and hold on, let me get it for you. Sorry about that. But here's the look we're going after. Okay, as you can see, I put a lot of gold on this, but it's a candy apple red finish. Anytime you put a translucent paint over gold, it gives you the candy apple effect. It gives you the warm glow to it, rather than putting silver on this. Now you can see this one is real heavy with the gold. That's why there's so much bright red showing up. Well, Gary really liked that. So that's the look that we're going for. I'm not trying to do an exact duplicate, because that would be silly, and well, whenever you do this technique, it's not exact. It's to personal taste and to personal look, but that's what we're going for. So here's the gold. It's Gold Metal Flake by Createx. Shake it up really well. Get all the gold flake mixed in. You can see it's in the side. I've got it on my finger. And you try to look and make sure it's not all gooped up in the bottom. But just shake it up. Get it nice and mixed up. And you don't need a lot. You really don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paintbrush. I'm going to dip it in here. Pull out some. Put on this. And believe it or not, that right there is enough to do the whole car. I'm going to put a little bit extra on there. And I will keep this sitting over to the side in case I need more. Now you just take some saran wrap. And you don't ball it. You just fold it and kind of crinkle it. And this gives you all the different edges and stuff. All the different crinkles and lines. And I mean, you can do all kind of crazy stuff with this. But once you get it, now I'll unfold it and refold it and just constantly mess with it until I get something to work with. And then once you get there, that's when you start the fun. And you can just mess with it until you get something you think you can work with. And then what I like to do is I like to dab it in there, right? And I'll hit it on that real quick. And then I'll just start on the van. And that's all there is to it. And then you just go, and the reason I do it on that, because that's going to be a lot. I try to knock some of it off. And then you just go around it, putting on however much you think you want on the side of the van. And as I move this, you can see that most of it is already coated. But if I hold it at 90 degrees to the camera, only the high spots will give you that bright red finish. So I look at it. If I like it, I move on. If I don't, I can go back and add more. And I honestly think that's enough for that side. We'll come back to it. But you just keep working until there's none coming off. And go back and re-dab all you want. And move around the van. You can twist it, you can dab it, you can pull it, you can do it however you want. I have learned that pulling it is kind of like painting. See how much gold is on there right now? That's going to be one big bright spot. So to balance that off, the rest of the van now needs to be heavier. But that's all you do. It is that simple. Do the top. And I'm just moving, twisting the saran wrap. Make sure to get it around that vent. And like I said, we'll keep this over to the side. If we need more, we can pour more out. Just like that. Re-ball the saran wrap. Get different textures and angles and stuff. Dab it in, dab it off. Try to hit around that vent real good. Put it on a little bit more heavier. And you just watch the pattern as it's going and decide when you think you have enough. See, this side is blacker, this side is golder. So that tells me we need more heavy spots over on this side. There is no right, there is no wrong. You just do it until you're happy with it. Because it's your car after all, right? Sorry, I keep wanting to go off camera. Let's see, some right there. Some down here. A little bit more down at the bottom. You're not trying to coat the whole car. The whole car will end up coated with a little bit of gold. That's just the way it is. That's the nature of the beast. But we're looking for the high spots. The high spots is what gives us our marble effect. If we need more high spots, we just go in, dab it, and put on a high spot like so. I think that's good enough for that. Now we got to do the base. Yes, we do the base too. Uh-oh. Yes, we do the base too. Now I'm not going to do the front, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to chrome the front with the chrome pen or a silver marker. And then I will, because I want that to be a little bit different than the body, because it's a different part of the car. And then I'm going to chrome back, and on Gary's I'm actually going to chrome the side pipes. So I really don't need to do the side pipes. I'm not going to do the front. I'm just going to concentrate on the base. So I'm going to take it off of that. I'm going to actually hold it by the front, get me some more gold paint. And once you put it down, you can mush it in there. It won't hurt anything. Get the back. Once you get it where you like it, like I think that's pretty good, you can stop. But I am going to hit this front bumper just a little bit. Not the grill, just the bumper. Just kind of dab some on there, here and there. Just to kind of bring that base up to the front. Put it on the sides. That way when we put it together, it all fits together. And that's all there is to it. Let's put some color on this. I just got done spraying one truck. Guess what? Metallic gold. And now we're going to spray this truck. Guess what? Or this van. The finished color for that truck. But this is going on another car for Mr. Gary Sorter, like you already know. But yes, blood red. That's one of my favorite colors. Mix ratio for this. You have to have a carrier, because all the candy paints are just a tint. That's all they are. So you have to have something for it to mix with in order to flow, to stick to the car. And in this case, I'm trying to finish up using my 40-30. And then when I use up all this, I'll be switching over to 40-50, because that's their new stuff, which is supposed to be a lot more durable. But anyhow, 6 parts of this to 1 part candy red. That's all it takes. And if you need to thin it down in a little bit of 40-11 or 40-12. So I'm going to start with the base just like I always do. Test spray. Yep, everything's coming out fine. Make sure I dust it off. And as you can see, I hit the front with the chrome like I was saying. Actually, it's just silver. A silver paint marker. That's all it really is. But all we want to do is put on tack coat, and you can see it's already starting to change colors. Kind of an orange right now, but it won't be orange when we get done. Now let's hit the body. Like I told you before, as you can see in the sunlight, this bad boy has a lot of gold on it. But when you look at it at almost 90 degrees, all you see is the high spots. But it'll all look red. Trust me, it'll all look red. Even though we didn't do anything to the inside, you always want to, well, you might not, but I do. Just because that's how a real car is. And if I'm sending this to somebody, I don't want them to open it up and see that the inside of it is still white or whatever color the car was originally. So I always hit the insides too. But you want to try, when you use a candy paint, you want to kind of overlap it at least half a spray. So like if I get on this bottom half, I want my next run to run at least a half over that. The reason for it, because if you don't, you'll get what's called shading, if you will. There'll be a light spot and a dark spot. So you have to try to go back and blend it. So as you've seen, it took 3 passes to coat that side with a 50-50 overlap. And there's the body. Look at how good that's looking already. I hope that's coming through. I'm rotating it in the sun so you can actually see when the gold hits that bad boy and the colors on it. That just looks so good. I'm going to do this one a little bit darker than I did mine, just because I think Gary will like it better that way. So we're going to let that set up for just a few minutes, and the base should be ready now to put the second coat on it. Well, we can use the base to halfway gauge how we want the body. And see, already, I'm assuming you can see this, but already that's starting to turn a nice dark red. My van, I think I put 5 coats on it. I wouldn't ever recommend going more than 7. Oh no, I might go lighter on Gary's. It just depends, because you know, when you do these marble paint jobs, each marble is different. But hit the wheel wells, and the reason even though there's no gold or anything in the wheel wells, I still want to hit everything, because if he takes this out in the sun or has it, I'm sorry I wasn't on camera, if he takes this out in the sun or has it sitting in a window or whatever, he'll be able to see that red over that black, and it'll give it kind of a black cherry look. It'll look really good. So the body's had plenty of time. It's ready for another coat. And if you ever do this, you can always speed it up a little bit. I mean, I'm sitting outside, it's windy, but I can use the air from the airbrush to help dry it. Now you don't want to go in close, because you'll start spreading the paint. So again, I'm going to put one more coat on the inside. Put a nice heavy wet coat. Oh yeah, that's a good looking black cherry there. I wish you could see that. I know with the sun being over in this direction, you're not going to be able to see that. Man, it looks so good. Oh, that's looking good. Ooh. Yes, sir. Look at that. I mean, when you're sitting out in the sun, I know it doesn't come through on camera, but when you're sitting out in the sun, that gold with that blood red over it, it's candy apple, because anytime you do a candy apple, like I said, you put gold down and you go over it with a translucent color, but that looks like pure fire right there. I mean, literal fire. It looks so good. I wish you could see it in the sunlight. All right, let's get this bad boy finished up. I'm going to go ahead and take his name off of it, because this will be the end of the project. But I got to make up my mind about one thing, and that is that stupid thing right there. I don't like the blue. I actually have something cut for it. What did I do with it? I actually have a piece of blister pack that I cut, that I want to see how it's going to look. If it looks okay, I may just trim that blue off. We'll see. I don't know. But anyhow, there's the body. Looks pretty good. I'm not 100% pleased with the clear coat on it, but I think it looks really good. Nice shiny. Marbleized candy apple red. That's what he requested. Of course, it's not exactly like mine, because I couldn't do it exactly like mine. Number one, it's impossible to get the pattern right. But number two, there's only one old man's shop van. You know, that can't be exactly. So this one's different, but I detailed the side markers. As you can see there, there's no brake lights on this thing, oddly enough. But I did the base a little bit different too. I chromed the side pipes like I said I was going to. I did the headlights, and I chromed the fog lights and then put amber in them like the old school vans. So all we got to do is put the wheels back in it. And I've already talked to Gary. I told him he was getting a van. He don't remember it. So that's pretty good. Get my screwdriver. That's pretty good in the sense that if he doesn't remember what he asked for, that means the paint job will be a surprise when he gets it. So be on the lookout for his review of the paint job so we can see if he's happy with it or whatever. Because you just never know when you send somebody something, you know. Get these open back up a little bit so I can get this back in here. And this has all been clear coated, the base and everything, so. I broke that one. I didn't want to break it, but that's alright. Interior holds it in anyway. There we go. Snap that one back in. Sometimes if you get real gentle, you can get it to go back in. Not always, but sometimes you get lucky like that. But there's that. Those wheels will look really good on there with that paint job. But now I need to look at this interior. We're done with that. Set it over out of the way. Back the screws out. I'll tell you what, looking at this next to the blue, it looks beautiful, don't it? So that tells me that the blue interior would work with it, but I just don't know if I like that or not. I just don't know. Let's see how it looks. I don't know. It doesn't look too bad. All in all, it doesn't look too bad. How hard would it be to put this in it? Where'd it go? Let's see, that's going. I left the ridge on it so I can try to put it in the same way. So it would slide up in there like such. It's a little wide still. Trim it down just a hair. I don't know, I'm just trying something. It might not even work. If it don't, I'll just put the blue interior in it, right? Alright, so I've got one of these glue pins. Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, I can always take it back out, right? Get in here about where I want it. We're going to give it a try. Take the cap off. Put some right there in the middle. Let's try on the edges first. Now it says 5 seconds, but I always hold on here longer because the few times I've tried this, 5 seconds, it is not long enough. So we're going to go a little while longer. But it does work, surprisingly. And JB Weld actually has one out now too, which has more glue in it and it's bigger. It's a bigger light and everything, but it's like $10. But good luck finding one. I missed my opportunity to get one when it was out, and you know, I only had myself to say anything about with that. Let's put some over on this side. Now I'm going to put some, turn the light off so I don't blind myself. Put some at the top. Oh, I don't want it on the car dummy. And it will dry overnight if you let it sit. They say let it sit for 24 hours. Make sure it's not sagging down or anything like it is. They say if you let it sit for 24 hours, it'll cure by itself. Alright, let's see how it looks now. This corner up in here, that is perfect. I really like that. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? So, let's put this up. These things work. People told me to let them know how this thing works, and I really, really like it. I need to find out about refills. But I really like it. It works great. Like if you break something, like this was already broken when I got it from Mr. Bruin. I put some on there, put the UV light on it, and held it fine. I've got a pair of reading glasses made out of plastic. It snapped, you know, putting it on and off your head so many times it snapped. I put some of it on there. Has not broken again. I mean, it really does what it says it's going to do. Don't go by the 5 seconds though. Give yourself, I recommend them. I do. I recommend them. But give yourself longer than 5 seconds. 5 seconds ain't going to do it. I promise you. 5 seconds is not going to cut it. Now, let me wipe all my greasy fingerprints off of it. As you can see, it's not pushing it out or anything. It is holding, which is what you want. Now I'm going to take it and stick it up in here. And there's nothing to smear because the UV light cured it. So I'm just trying to get some of the greasy fingerprints out of it. Now I'll wipe the outside off. And while I do this, you guys can take a look at what we started with, because next time you see this, you will see it reassembled. So here's what we started with. You know, it's a really cool Space Jam van. And you know, the Space Jam is not my cup of tea. They could have found somebody else to put in the role and everything, but it is what it is. They chose to do it, so what can you say, you know? But with that stated, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope Gary likes the van, and thank you all so very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.